The whole Freeman community is a victim today.
Even some of our state troopers, they have kids that go to school here. That's a lot to take from a first responder's perspective.
And unfortunately, today kind of marks the beginning of a new reality, sad new reality.
Very true. And today we had continuous coverage since the moment we very first heard Kalai Chalk and Sean Owsley went on the air, and they did not stop the coverage until we found out all the information. We're still getting more information. We hope to bring that to you.
First call came out around 10:15 this morning. Shots fired. We know one student shot 4 other students.
One of those students was killed. Sheriff Ozzie Knezevich says that student was trying to tackle the gunman when that happened, when he was shot and killed. 3 other students were injured. They're listed in satisfactory condition at Sacred Heart.
Hundreds of interviews. I've told more than 300 probably will be done at the end of this investigation. And just take a look behind me. You can still see all this crime scene tape. All this place is still roped off around here at Freeman High School. And Sheriff Ozzie Knezevich says that they are still deep into their investigation, but this could be the case of bullying that led to this. So far here is what we do know. The student did come to the school armed and took out a weapon. The first weapon jammed, and another student walked up to him, tried to tell him, "You don't want to do this." Unfortunately, that student was shot and killed. Then the shooter fired down the hallway, hitting 3 teens who are now in the hospital.
And we send our prayers out to the mother whose student is not coming home today. But we need to figure out what's gone wrong with our society, that our children decide that they need to take weapons to deal with the issues that they're facing.
Now, I did speak with someone who says he is friends with that alleged shooter, and he also told me that in the days leading up to this, apparently the shooter was watching some school shooting documentaries.
And obviously frantic, panicked, wanting to reunite with their child. Let's give you a little closer view here. The school was obviously where this incident took place.
Yeah, video here, it was very eerie to see this. There was literally rows and rows, a mile or two of cars stretching down Highway 27 as you head towards the Spokane area. And these parents, with just this look of emotion in their face, they're so frantic to find out, is my child okay?
I pulled up alongside one woman who literally had tears in her eyes, and I rolled down my window. I said, "Are you okay?" She said, "I've heard from all 3 of my kids. I just can't get to them right now."
And I did speak to a sophomore student, Liam Marshall, who shared a bus with the alleged shooter, and he said he was calm and his headphones were in and he was carrying a black duffel bag.
I heard a gunshot. Me and my friends thought it was just a random sound. I guess I just feel safe, I guess. Everything's okay now.
In a classroom, he was finally reunited with his mother. You know, I couldn't imagine what Liam was going through in that classroom, especially with everything that was just going on. It's something that you don't really think that would happen to you. You'd see it on TV, and when it happens here in such a small community, I mean, you just can't really wrap your head around it. You can never really prepare yourself for something like this, and to cover something like this, it's heartbreaking.
Well, you heard Peter describe the situation. Imagine getting that call that there's been a shooting at your child's school and you can't reach them to ask if they're okay. That's what happened to hundreds of parents. They lived through that today, and the moment they were reunited with their children was incredibly emotional, as you could imagine.
Her name is Susan Marshall. She says she couldn't wait to wrap her arms around her son and her daughter.
I'm not a person who panics, and he had been texting with me, so I just was trying to find him. It was actually harder to get Ellie, who's in 6th grade, because they didn't quite know where the kids were. The high school kids had all been evacuated to the football field, so they were easier to find.
She says that she's been in this situation before, not in a situation for a school shooting, but she's actually a trauma nurse, so that's why she was saying that she doesn't panic in a situation like this.
But I did talk to staff here who are just thankful that they are so well trained to handle situations like this. Chaos and fear struck Freeman High School Wednesday morning. Shortly after several shots were fired inside the school, ambulances were arriving at Sacred Heart Medical Center's emergency room.
We had several trauma rooms open, available. We had 8 operating rooms open, available, and fortunately did not need much of that. And say that if this happens at close to home, we're there.
Just to echo the statements Dr. Moore made earlier, very frightening. I did go inside of the ER waiting area just moments ago, and I did have a chance to visit with some friends of the victims. Now, they would not go on camera, understandably, just a little shooken up still from today's events, but that's what it is, shooken up and frightened.
Now, Kevin Parker, former state representative, joins us now. And Kevin, back in 1999, you actually were at Columbine when we saw the bloodbath, if you will, unfold there. What were your thoughts when you heard about the shooting here at Freeman?
Well, I hear a lot about the school shootings across the country. It's always harder, though, when it's in your own community, and it's even more emotional when your kids are of school age. So I think this one, for me personally, was more emotional than a lot of them have been. It's offering free coffee, free food of whatever the students, faculty, or any Freeman community member would like from 9 to 3 p.m. And if we look at Columbine students, 15-ish years out now, there's a big difference of the students that sought counseling and those that didn't. And generically speaking, the ones that sought counseling are living pretty healthy lives these days. One of the best things we can do is not to identify the shooter, because the shooters crave this attention, and they crave to see their name in lights, and they crave to read the newspaper with it.